She is a medical doctor from Switzerland and is committed to a healthy and sustainable future for everyone. She was selected for this year's Forbes 30 Under 30 list for her work in health equity and climate justice, and has just returned from Egypt, where she attended the COP27 World Climate Conference. Please welcome Bea Albermann.
It's a funny coincidence to get to talk after our federal counselor, Mrs. Omaruga, because just last week in Egypt at the Global Climate Conference, she told me, and make sure that after COP27, youth voices are heard. So, dear Mrs. Omaruga, here I am, and I'm curious to see whether my message will be heard. I am Bea, I'm 25, I'm a Swiss medical doctor, and I'm here because I'm scared. I'm scared because our patients are dying of the climate crisis today. They're dying of air pollution, of extreme weather events, of droughts, of floodings, of infectious diseases, and even if they survive, they suffer. I'm scared because I went to Egypt in the past 2 weeks with doctors and nurses from all around the world because the one single thing we can do to save millions of lives is to fight for 1.5 and for climate justice. We say 1.5 to stay alive. And I'm here because I'm scared, because walking out of this conference, it feels like we're walking out of an operating room while the patient is still bleeding, because we're walking out of this global climate conference and we don't have an agreement to phase out of all fossil fuels, of coal, gas, and oil. And I'm scared because I fear that you see me, but that you don't hear me. And I'm scared because the ones most impacted by this crisis, they're not even in this room. What about the children under the age of 18 that cannot participate in our democracy, whose future we're about to decide? And what about the youth activists from Uganda that I was talking to last week? And in Uganda, currently there is the biggest oil pipeline of the world being built. And this oil is going to be exported all around the globe, and also to Europe. The diagnosis is clear. We're in a planetary crisis, and it's also very clear who caused this crisis. Europe, historically, accounts for 42% of all global greenhouse gas emissions. Good news. As a doctor, in every crisis, we know there's a therapy. Even no matter how screwed this is, there is a therapy, and the therapy is very clear. We don't need any more blah, 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 false promises or false commitments. We need to realize their urgency and act according to it. The first aid emergency kit is to phase out of all fossil fuels, to develop a fossil fuel non-proliferation treaty. And the long-term therapy is systemic change. Systems change, not climate change. That's what you hear on the streets, right? What does it actually mean? Our current system is based on infinite growth. And when I hear infinite growth, I think of cancer, right? Our body has boundaries, and so does our planet. And that's a therapy. We transform our current system for well-being, health, and security within those planetary boundaries. And my question to you, if you see this, is, do you hear me? Do you care? Because now we can put care for ourselves, for each other, for our planet into all decision-making, urgently. If we care, we can. Let's go. Thank you.